What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 22 of the Axis of Combat podcast. It's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna, my co-host.
Hugo the boss, Hugo got next. You already know, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get into that, you already know the routine. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody right now enjoying the visuals on YouTube, please hit that notification bell. Please subscribe, comment, and drop a like.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast. And before we get into this UFC London card today, we're going to recap our bets from last weekend. So, unit-wise, I barely had a losing night, unfortunately. My brother had a really good night. We'll start with my brother because he had such a good night. He had quarter unit on Barez sub at plus 500. He had 1 unit on Park money line, half unit on Prado inside the distance, and half unit on Magdalena and Hafez fight to start round 2.
Money. Money.
We'll get into that on my bets because I was triggered. But I had Holly Holm money line. Scary bet. I knew that one possibly could go belly up. I'm okay with that. A quarter unit on Jack Magdalena to finish in round 2 at plus 550. My boy did not make great decisions. He might be getting faded in the future. I had a half unit on Lutz money line. I had a unit on Prado Azete, fight does not go the distance. Magdalena Hafez, fight does not go the distance. Sadikov McKinney, fight does not go the distance. Dumont Chandler over 2.5 rounds. Magdalena Hafez blew me up on this parlay. And it's because that fight should have been stopped. But unfortunately, low fighting IQ prevented me from victory. But on my wins, a unit on Park's money line. And I put a unit on Bumgarner and Andy Cruz, who's an up-and-coming prospect in boxing, to get decision wins this weekend, and they both did at plus 110. So I finished a little short of at a unit lost. My brother finished with about a unit and a half up. So good on you, my brother. On to the next one for me.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah. Cheerio. And we're saying cheerio because this is the UFC London card coming up this weekend. This is a fucking banger of a card. And yeah, let's just jump right into it, man. Let's make some money because there's a lot of bettable spots on this card.
All right, first fight we got here, we got Jafel Filho. How do you say this guy's name?
I think it's Filho.
Jafel Filho.
Notice I said that with a Spanish accent.
Filho.
Even though he's Portuguese, but
I mean, you know, they're next to each other. We're going one-on-one with Daniel Barez. The pastor, Filho, 14-3, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old, going one-on-one with Barez, 16-5, fighting out of Spain, hailing from Spain, 34 years old. I think this is a very good fight to start off the card. This is a very, I want to say like 50-50 fight in my opinion. I think Barez is very good. He went to a split decision, I think it was, or whatever it was. It was like in, I don't remember if it was split or whatever, but he went to decision with, I can't remember his name. On the Contender Series. Anyway, it was a good-ass fight.
Oh!
No, it was against a good-ass guy, too. And,
Carvalho.
No.
That's Cap. Yeah, Cap.
It was like in 2019.
Oh, so he's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Carlos Hernandez.
There you go. Carlos Hernandez. Very good fight. Now he's back fighting against Filho, who had a sick-ass fight against Makhachev, his last fight out. I'm going to lean Filho here, only because I think if this fight gets to the ground, I think Filho is going to be a little more active. If this fight stays standing, though, I think Barez has definitely got an edge. But Barez likes to mix up the grappling, and then when he mixes up the grappling, I think that's where Filho is going to take advantage, essentially. So I think I got Filho here as my lean. Don't know how I'm going to bet it, but I think maybe it ends in sub. What about you?
Violence is the answer in this fight. This fight is very hard to pick on. If I'm being quite frank, it's a great fight. Filho, if you guys remember his last fight, he had Makhachev in a knee bar that most human beings on this planet would have tapped to. Makhachev has not been seen since, and he's a highly touted prospect for the UFC. I think if this fight stays standing, Danielle's going to have a significant advantage, and if this fight hits the floor, Filho's going to have a pretty significant advantage. With that said, the lean's going to be Filho, but if Barez found a way to, win this fight, I'm not going to be surprised. Filho to lean, don't know how I'm going to bet it. Probably going to bet the violence in this fight because I don't think this fight's going to go the distance.
All right, next fight we have here, second fight of the card. We got females in strawweight here. We got Bruna, Brazil, going one-on-one with a debuting Shauna Bannon. Shauna Bannon, the special one, Brazil. 8-3-1, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 29 years old. Going one-on-one with the debuting Mama B, Shauna Bannon, 5-0, hailing from Ireland, fighting out of Ireland, 29 years old. Initially, when I seen this fight on paper, I was leaning Brazil. I think I'm still leaning Brazil, but after watching some Bannon tape, put a little respect on her because she hasn't fought like the greatest level of competition, but you can tell she's got the tools, and she's not one of these women who look like they're gonna quit if push comes to shove. So maybe some overs. I'm still gonna lean Brazil. I think Brazil's got the grappling edge. I think she takes her down and probably beats her up there. Standing, I think they both kind of want to do the same thing. They're both kind of like the kickboxery type. I think Bannon's got like a taekwondo background, but Brazil's gonna be the lean here for me. Don't feel confident enough to bet it at the moment, but if I see some lines that open up, maybe. But who knows? But that's my lean.
Bruna's the lean. But I don't feel too confident betting her because she has a lot of defensive holes. She makes a lot of mistakes. She fights with her hands down. She tries to use her head movement to get out of the way of shots, and Gomes completely exposed her in that last fight. I mean, Gomes hits like a truck. I don't think Bannon hits as hard as she does, but I could see Bannon exploiting some of those areas. I think that Bruna can win this fight. She should win this fight if I'm being quite frank with you, but I don't trust her enough to bet on her. When someone fights with their hands down, unless their name is Anderson Silva, it's going to scare the shit out of me. That's just what it is, So give me Bruna as the lean. Don't know if I'm going to bet this fight.
All right, next fight we got here on the prelims is the men's lightweight. And we got Chris Duncan, the problem, going one-on-one with Yanal, the Red Fox, Ashmouz.
Yeah.
Whatever. Chris Duncan, 10-1, fighting out of Scotland, hailing from Scotland, 30 years old, going one-on-one with the Red Fox, 7-0, fighting out of Israel, hailing from Israel, 28 years old. We got the rare Scotland versus Ireland. I'm pretty sure it's just a weird-ass pairing of nationalities fighting each other. I like Chris Duncan. I respect Chris Duncan. I'm going to Red Fox here. I think.
What does the fox say? Yeah.
A stupid ass meme.
Yeah.
That's the Red Fox right there. That's what the fox says. And I'm leaning Ashmouz here only because I think both these fighters kind of do the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but they're kind of like the same archetype where they kind of want to stand and bang. But I think Ashmouz is the more accurate striker. He's the more composed striker. He might even have the power edge. He is going to be the shorter guy. And I do worry about Chris Duncan maybe implementing a lot of wrestling here. Even though I think Ashmouz's got the tools to kind of mitigate it a bit. And Duncan's also got some wicked leg kicks. But that being said, I think Ashmouz is I think he's a little bit underrated. And I think he's being a little overlooked here. So I kind of like this dog spot here a little bit. Enough to take a shot on it. What about you?
I agree with you. I think Chris Duncan is another guy. He's a habitual line stepper, to be quite frank. Like, I think he makes a lot of mistakes on the feet. He kind of fights with his hands down too, a lot like Bruna Brazil. He could get caught with great shots and counter shots. I just don't trust. I don't trust his approach to the game. I really don't. Yanal, I feel like he's been overlooked all his career. Like, he had that fight in the PFL Challenger Series with Dennis Hughes, and he dog-walked Dennis Hughes, and they were not expecting that because the commentary was clearly on the side of Dennis Hughes that whole fight, even when he was getting his ass whooped. And then they were trying to say that Yanal possibly, one of the commentators said he needed a stoppage possibly to solidify winning this fight. It's like, dude, he whooped his ass for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, it was insane.
Whooped his ass.
He got smoked.
And even his last fight, I think he was a dog as well, and he knocked that dude the fuck out. So it's like, I think this guy is super underlooked. Underlooked. He's super overlooked.
Yeah.
I think his striking is underrated. I think his timing is underrated. I think he's built like a fucking tank too. And I think he can match Chris Duncan's physicality here. I think at plus 130, from what I'm seeing here, I think he's worth a dog shot for sure. So, give me Yanal at plus 130, and I'm going to confirm that bet right now, by the way. Oh, and last but not least, by the way, to that point, Chris Duncan also went to decision with a 37-year-old Morales, who he probably should have fucked him up.
Yeah, he didn't look bad in that fight, and that's the fight where he did implement a lot of his wrestling.
Correct.
And, so that's something that's kind of like to be aware of when taking the Ashmouz side. Duncan could out-physical this guy, but I still think Ashmouz has got the IQ and the savvy to kind of stay out of the way of that. Make this a nice competitive fight, and if I got to go strike for strike,
Ashmouz's the cleaner puncher.
He's the cleaner puncher, and Duncan's kind of not, I don't want to say like a punching bag, but he's there to get hit.
He's there to get hit.
He's there to get hit. He doesn't know how to get his head off the center line.
And Omar Morales doesn't have the physicality that Ashmouz have. He's just not built. He's just not built that way. I'm sorry. If the guy's 37 years old, he went to a split decision with him. So I'll take a shot on the dog here, who I think is being very overlooked.
All right, next fight we have here in the women's bantamweight division, we have Ketlen Vieira going one-on-one with Pannie Kianzad. Fenomeno Vieira, hailing from Brazil, fighting out of Brazil, 31 years old, going one-on-one with Banzai Kianzad. 16-6, fighting out of Sweden. Actually, hailing from Sweden, fighting out of Denmark. I think she's like... she speaks like about 4 different languages, right? Or something like that.
Pannie, right?
Yeah, because isn't she like Brazilian but grew up like overseas?
It's a weird thing, yeah. It's a weird thing with her. She's a good fighter though.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
This fight is actually this fight is kind of tough. I think Vieira is the rightful favorite in this fight because she is the favorite, right?
Yeah, minus 150.
She is the rightful favorite, but for me, this might be dog or pass only because I just can't trust Vieira's output and IQ in the ring. It's not that she fights dumb, but it's more of like,
which version of her shows up?
She doesn't fight with I don't know if urgency is the right word. It's kind of weird where she's a little low output for me. And I think if she takes this to the ground, she's got this. But I think Kianzad is... I think she's the smarter fighter. I think she's the better striker. I think she could probably keep this standing. I think she's better in the clinch. But the clinch is going to be like, that's going to be like the focal point of the fight, right? Because that's where Vieira is going to be able to get her sweeps and her trips and whatever. And if Kianzad could kind of defend that or at least mitigate that a little bit, I kind of like Kianzad here. Kianzad, she's not like a powerhouse either, but the striking should be good enough where it can get her a decision. I don't think she puts Vieira out. Vieira's probably got the power, but again, she's just a little more low output than I like, and don't know if I can rely on her to consistently get this to the ground either. So, but if she does, she does. She should be able to. But I like Kianzad here. Not with the biggest amount of confidence, but I'm gonna lean Kianzad here. Maybe it might end up a bet later for me, but I'm not too sure. What about you?
Especially if this line opens up more, because she's at a plus 130, and I agree with you, Pannie. I think Vieira's the lean. Pannie might be the bet, and the reason being is not only what you said. I don't trust Vieira's output. It's just which version of her are we gonna get? I feel like every time she fights, we're guessing which one we're gonna get. You know, and that's not a good place to be as a fighter. I think after she got knocked out by Irina Aldana, it just changed who she was. Because before she was walking girls down, putting a lot of punches on them. Now she's a girl who gets hit more than she hits, right? I think her output is like 4 point something punches or strikes per minute, and she gets outlanded 5 point something per minute or some wild shit. So she has a negative strike defense differential. I like Pannie here. I think Pannie's going to bring the fight to her. I think Pannie's going to be better than her in the clinch. But as you said, the reason why I'm not sure if I'm going to make a bet on this fight is because Ketlen can judo toss her, can sweep her, can get her to the floor. And if she gets her to the floor, she is going to have the advantage of the jiu-jitsu game. So Ketlen's the lean, but I like Pannie possibly as a bet down the road. If Pannie won this fight, I would not be surprised.
All right, next fight we have here in the middleweight division. We have a debuting middleweight, Bryan Barberena, going one-on-one with Makhmud Muradov. Barberena. Oh, my God. I just butchered my man's name. Barberena. Barberena. 18-10. Fighting out of Glendale, Arizona. 34 years old. Going one-on-one with no nickname Muradov. 25-8, fighting out of Uzbekistan. Actually hailing from Uzbekistan, fighting out of Prague. That's in the Czech Republic. 33 years old. I will keep this one nice and short and simple. This is Muradov by murder. I try to make that rhyme. I fucked that up. Muradov by murder. He's gonna maraud this man. I don't even know if I use that word in the word in the right context. He's a marauder. He's a marauder. Murder. Bars. Listen, Bam. Don't trust this guy's chin. He's moving up.
And he's already not a big welterweight.
Yeah. The only thing that, I can see why the matchmakers kind of made this a little bit is... Barberena could keep the pressure. He's gonna keep pressure on Muradov, but I don't know. I think it's just whatever. Muradov by murder. What about you? I was trying to find a way to put a little shine on Barberena here.
Listen, man. I'm not very high on Barberena. I think he fights like he's fighting in a bar against normal men. Muradov is gonna execute this dude. I mean, not that Muradov's he's not the most in is he top 15? I don't know. I think Muradov's gonna do whatever he wants.
I think he's good enough to beat the shit out of Barberena.
No question. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna let the podcast know about this, the fans and the viewers. I told you about this before this podcast dropped. I don't even know how the fuck this fight got sanctioned. I'm gonna be honest with you. Bryan, there's a lot of question marks because he did have back surgery. So I think he's moving up in weight because he's having issues cutting the weight, probably because he's having back problems or things of that nature. And maybe it's just him depleting his body is not helping his spinal issues. Who knows? What I do know is even Bryan Barberena at his best, I'm not picking him against Muradov. Muradov is Money Mayweather's I wouldn't say prodigy. His one, I guess, liaison in the UFC because he trains with Mayweather and at Mayweather's gym, and Mayweather manages him. So we should give him a nickname. He's going to be TMT or TNT Muradov. You feel me? Because it's going to be TNTs on fucking Bryan Barberena's face this weekend.
Well, Mayweather about to get his money's worth on this one, I feel like.
No question. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I already parlayed Muradov with Aspinall and Molly McCann. So
spoiler,
I parlayed it and I threw 2 units on it. And I threw 2 units on it because the shakiest leg is gonna be Molly, which we'll talk about later. But I have a pretty good read on how that fight's gonna go. But Muradov and Aspinall, they're gonna fuck shit up on this fight and their fights this weekend. I really believe that. I don't see how Bryan is going to be able to outbox Muradov when this guy is training under Mayweather and with Mayweather's killers and the lines. Not even the line. I think they call it the Lines Den gym. Probably not. It's the TMT gym. So let's just keep it at that. I think the Lines Den is the Charlo brothers. But
the money gym.
The money gym. I just don't.
I made that up. I have no idea.
I seen this fight on paper and I don't know how it got sanctioned. Right now, I'm literally waiting for the line to open up to parlay Aspinall by finish and Muradov by knockout because that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen unless by some fluke. I just don't see it because Bryan doesn't hit hard.
Barberena by sub. Watch.
He's more of a he's more of a
crazy,
he's
bro.
he's more of a volume puncher as opposed to a power puncher. So I don't even have the threat from Muradov getting knocked out here. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, that was the compliment I was trying to give him earlier, right? Like, he is a volume puncher. He is a pressure fighter. So I could see, that may be bothering Muradov a little bit because I think he works a little better in space, but
Muradov's footwork is good enough.
Yeah.
And you saw what he did with Cal Brajalo. He doesn't really get tired. He gets a little tired, but he's a dog. He's going to sit in there and just do what he's got to do. So, and he don't have any submission threats to worry about with Barberena. These guys are not going to sub each other. They're going to stand up. So, Muradov by execution.
All right, next fight we have here. This is in the heavyweight division. Oh, we got the low-level heavyweights. We're back, baby. And we got a debuting Mick Parkin. I'm wrecking everybody's name today. Mick Parkin.
Mick Parkin.
Chill. Going one-on-one with the Stormtrooper, Jamal Pogues. What a god. That's a godlike nickname.
There's my homie out right here. Right here. That's Vader, but
you keep. We did this before.
Yeah, I don't care. He's just a black stormtrooper. that's all he is.
Whoa! I mean, he's just a stormtrooper.
No,
he is a black stormtrooper. You're right.
Listen, I'm not saying anything out of.
Anyway, move on.
Vader,
move on.
Look at his color. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
You're judging him by the color of his outfit.
The color of his outfit.
Okay. All right, we got Mick Parkin here, 6-0, fighting out of England. Nationality English, 27 years old. The Stormtrooper Pogues, fighting out of Victoryville, California.
He's not losing.
27 years old. I'm leaning Pogues here. Not that, I seen some tape on Mick. I don't think Mick is whack. The problem is he hasn't really, if I have to pick the English, now this is going to sound a little nationalist here, but between the English heavyweight that's debuting and then the American heavyweight that I know about, I'm going with the American heavyweight. Only because, I know in America we got better competition over here. This guy...
You're not wrong, though. It's not a slight on London.
Yeah, and it's not a slight on Parkin at all, but, how many good English heavyweights are, who's he beating up?
Correct.
Do they have Uber over there? Taxi? Trolley? He beating up trolley workers, maybe? People who work at the seaport? I don't know who he's beating up over there. I'm going to lean Pogues here. Would I be surprised if Parkin won? Not really. This is low-level heavyweight. You want to, dog or shot, dog or pass shot. You go on Parkin if you want, but I'm going to lean the Stormtrooper. Not with the most confidence, obviously, but yeah, Pogues. Pogues is the lean. Don't know how I'm gonna bet it, if I'm gonna bet it, or when I'm gonna bet it, or how I'm gonna bet it, or why I'm gonna bet it. What am I gonna bet?
You had to get the last W in there. Huh?
Yeah, I get all the W's. How do you feel about this fight, brother?
I like Pogues as well. Pogues for the experience, and not only that, Pogues is a 205er moving up. I do trust these heavyweights that walk around that 230, 240 range a little bit more in terms of their cardio. Mick Parkin hasn't fought anyone like Pogues.
Also, side note, not to cut you off, but Pogues used to be a Used to fight at light heavyweight.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I just said that. I did just say that. Why are you repeating?
Did he just say that, audience?
Yeah.
Am I gonna edit this and see that I fucked up?
Yeah.
Stay tuned. I think I did fuck up. Whatever. Anyway, shut up. Keep going.
Yeah. So I think Pogues. I think Pogues for sure is the lean here. Better competition. I think he's fought the better brand of competition. I think he's a 205er moving up. I trust these heavyweights that are that 230, 240 range. They just perform better. They have better cardio. Mick Parkin, he's fought guys that probably don't belong in there with him. He's a bigger guy, I will say that, but he fought Pogues was pretty impressive in his last performance, the way he ragged out, I think his name is Parisian, right? And
Sir.
He wrestled him down and was able to hold him in certain spots and make the fight nasty. So I like Pogues here. Pogues is I don't want to say he's an impressive low-level heavyweight, but he's better than most. I think this is a tough debut fight for Parkin. I really do. I think they could have brought back what's that guy's name? The trucker. Vander what I can't remember his name.
Jared Vandera?
Yeah, bring him back for Parkin. And then that's the passing of the torch for who's gonna be in the UFC or not, you know? So I just think this is a tough fight for Parkin in his first fight in the UFC. Will I bet it? I don't know, because anything can happen at this level with low-level heavyweights. But if I had to bet, it's gonna be Pogues.
All right, next fight we have here in the lightweight division. We have Marc the Bone Crusher Diakiese going one-on-one with another Fenomeno, Joel Alvarez. The Bone Crusher Diakiese, 16-6. Fighting out of England, hailing from England, 30 years old. Going one-on-one with Alvarez. Fighting out of Spain, hailing from Spain, 30 years old. This is another spot here where I like Diakiese. I like his I like the talent that he has and the tools that he is that he has. I don't know. That was just bad. Whatever. Joel Alvarez is gonna win this, I think. And I'm gonna pick Joel Alvarez because I don't trust Diakiese to make the right decisions here. And Alvarez has only lost to two people in the UFC. Damir Ismagulov and Arman Tsarukyan.
Great fighters.
Is Diakiese a great fighter?
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm going to lean Joel Alvarez here. Probably by submission.
He might be getting a bet, low-key.
That's Diakiese's one of his weaknesses is the guillotine. This man Alvarez is a guillotine god. I don't know how the fight's going to look. I think he can be a little competitive on the feet. I think Alvarez's stand-up is a little underrated. But Alvarez by sub. I think that's my lean. I just got to figure out how I'm going to bet it. I'm probably going to bet this one.
I think Alvarez, he's a minus 195 right now. I don't like that line too much, but I tell you what, it's not a bad one because it's under 200. So I like Alvarez as well. Alvarez is going to be the bigger guy. He's 6'3" to Diakiese's, I think, 5'10" or 5'11". He's only lost to Damir and Arman, as you said, elite caliber fighters. Like, those are top 10, in my opinion, lightweights in the world. And Diakiese, like, when he does use his wrestling, he doesn't really transition or try to land damage or even try to work for submissions. I don't think you can be complacent like that on the floor with someone like Joel Alvarez, because I think Joel Alvarez is going to be able to get back up to his feet and start landing damage or throw up submissions from his back, including that guillotine that he's known for, and essentially pack up Diakiese. He might stop him. I don't know if I'll go that far, but because Diakiese is he's a smart fighter defensively, doesn't really take a ton of damage or get hit or really put himself in positions to be subbed. But if I tell you what, with Joel Alvarez, that threat is pretty imminent. He is a very good fucking fighter. So Joel Alvarez is a lean. He's probably going to be getting my money as well.
All right, next fight we have here in the welterweight division, we have Hot Chocolate, Danny Roberts, going one-on-one with the Sluggernaut, Johnny Parsons. Hot Chocolate.
Horrible.
36 years old, fighting out of England, hailing from the United Kingdom, going one-on-one with the Sluggernaut Parsons. 8-3, fighting out of the good old US of A. Las Vegas, Nevada, 31 years old. I'm on the Parsons side literally because I just think Danny Roberts is overrated. I don't think he's good. He's lost to good people. He's beaten bad people. I mean, what's his most notable win? I don't know. I don't trust his chin. Johnny Parsons, very active on his feet. Can bang. He's got mallets. I think, Roberts is going to try to fight a smart fight here, but I think the slugger knot is going to make it a messy fight. And I think he catches his chin. And I think it's going to be Johnny Parsons upsetting the UK crowd when he makes his hot chocolate into cold milk. Doesn't make sense. I just thought that sounded cool. But what about you?
Well, listen, let's start this both off.
Horrible fighter. Horrible fighter.
And that's for both of them. Danny Roberts, can't trust his chin.
Listen, I'm not saying Johnny Parsons is a world beater, but you know.
Well, his name is Johnny Parsons. That's one.
He's the slugger now. We'll put some respect on his name.
Listen, he could get inside and hit him. I think Johnny Parsons definitely lean because I don't trust Roberts' chin. But I'm definitely, I don't want any part of this fight just because I've learned not to fade a bad fighter with another bad fighter. Shit happens, when you do stuff like that. It's just like when shit happens when you party naked, right? So I'm definitely not going to be I don't want my money next to this fight. Maybe I could probably see it going on it not going the distance, but you want the real, I could see this being an ugly fight for 3 rounds too. This is a scary fight to bet on, man. And if you thought I was gonna bet on this fight,
get the fuck out of here.
So I don't want money on the money line of any of these boys. I'm fuck that. I'm not a fan. And it's a pick'em for a reason. It's pretty much a pick'em. So yeah, I'm done beating up on this fight.
All right, now we got the main event for the prelims here. And this is in the bantamweight division. We got Davy Grant, dangerous Davy Grant, going against Daniel Marcos Soncora. Daniel Marcos. I don't know. I'm not sure what the Soncora means, but whatever. Something in Peruvian, I guess. Davy Grant, 13-6, fighting out of Las Vegas, but hailing from the United Kingdom, 37 years old. Going against Soncora, Daniel Marcos, hailing from Peru, fighting out of Peru, 30 years old. I kind of liked what I seen from Marcos, at least in his stand-up. I think he's a solid prospect. I think this is a good test. I just don't know if this is a test he's going to pass, because I think David Grant's a bad motherfucker. And I'm going to lean Grant here for the win. I think Grant's going to... like I said, it's going to be a good test. Marcos has shown some decent takedown defense, but not against a guy as dangerous Davy Grant. I think standing, it's competitive. Maybe slight edge to Marcos because he's the younger guy. Davy is 37 years old, but I'm gonna lean Davy here. Not with the biggest amount of confidence. Don't know if I'm gonna bet it. Like I said, good test for Marcos to see if he's UFC caliber, to be honest. What about you?
I agree with you. I think this might be another dog shot.
Is Davy the dog?
He's a dog. He's a plus 120 dog. And I think Daniel, this is a hard test for him. Davy Grant just came off of finishing a Sun Tzu in a fight where he was behind. I still think he's pretty durable. I think he comes in there to fight. His ground game is probably the most underrated part of his game. And I think if it gets there, I think Daniel Marcos might be in some trouble. Davy Grant's also big for the weight class. He's going to have the size advantage in this fight. I would love to see them face off, but I'm pretty sure Davy's going to be the bigger guy. Don't know if I'm going to bet this because Davy is,
37 years old kind of scares me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I agree. And he'll make you sweat for your money. He'll make you sweat. But I do like Davy for the possible upset here. Davy's a lean. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, but Davy might be the bet as well, too. We'll see. Definitely follow us on the social media platforms for this one.
All right, to kick off the main card here, we have Lerone Murphy going one-on-one with Josh Coulibaugh in the featherweight division. The Miracle Murray. 12-0-1. Fighting out of England, hailing from England. Going one-on-one with Kuya. Josh Coulibaugh. Hailing from Australia, fighting out of Sydney. 29 years old, 11-1-1. I think this is a sick fight to kick off the main card. I think this is a really good fight.
Great fight.
I like Lerone Murphy a lot. I like Coulibaugh a lot. I've underrated Coulibaugh a lot of times. I've been on the wrong side of a lot of bets going against Coulibaugh. And I think I'm gonna take the dog shot here. I respect Murray's game, but Coulibaugh, he's got a whole bunch of these intangibles. I just don't know how to describe. I think
he just knows how to fight his opponents too. Like he knows how to make adjustments to the guys he's fighting, man.
If this stays standing, I think this is Coulibaugh.
You think so?
I think so.
Interesting.
I think he's got very funky striking. Very funky striking. I think Murray's probably best way to win this is if he takes him down, to be honest. I like Coulibaugh. I think the line is close enough where I think I'm gonna take a dog shot on Coulibaugh here.
Yeah, this fight for me scares the shit out of me to bet on. And it scares the shit out of me because they're both so good. And Lerone, the only thing with Lerone, if Lerone had better takedown defense, I'd probably be a little more on him. He gets taken down on like shots that you shouldn't be getting taken down on, you know? He has fought the better competition, but I think Coulibaugh is live as hell in this fight. I really do. I think this guy, I agree with you. Like everyone keeps betting against him. They keep fading him and he keeps figuring it out. And I think it's just a testament to how underrated he is.
You know what it is? I think it's because when he first debuted, he debuted a weight class up against Jalen Turner. And I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of just let that sit in my system, I guess, a little too long. I didn't really forgive him for that loss because, I mean, that was a last minute weight class up kind of fight. That's his only loss in the UFC. Every time I see this guy fight, it's always something, there's always like a new wrinkle, you know, and
Yep. And
I think he's a high IQ fighter as well. I think he's very smart.
He gets hit a little too much for my taste.
Yeah.
But he's a dog.
But that's the Hawaiian in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know Hawaiian's like taking it to the melon. Pause.
Yeah, listen, you can't play that game. And for those who don't know, Lerone Murphy's called the Miracle because this dude got shot in the face. My men don't even like to talk about it. If I was him, I would be coming out to many men every fight. You know what I mean? I'll be in my Alexandra Pantoja shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He comes out to the British version of many men.
I don't even want to give a lean on this fight because I'm not sure where I'm leaning. But I think it's probably a dog or pass fight. It really is. It's that good of a fight. It's that close. And if this fight's going to come down to the wire, which a lot of Lerone Murphy's fights do, you want to be on the dog side. Thing is, he is at home, so how's the judging going to be? Right, if it's a close fight.
Yeah, it's probably going to be on the Murray side.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so you keep saying it's Murphy.
Murphy. What did I say?
You said Murray a whole bunch of times.
I'm picking Coulibaugh. Nah, I don't want to disrespect my man's name. That's my bad. Listen, I've been tripping over the names. I don't know. I'm illiterate, boy.
Illiterate.
I'm illiterate.
I can't read.
I can't read.
Yeah, we can move on to the next one.
All right, next fight we got here in the lightweight division. We got Jai Herbert going against Faris Zaim, the Black Country Banger. Jai Herbert. That's a dope-ass nickname. 12-4-1. Hailing from England, fighting out of England, 35 years old, going against the Smile Killer.
Terrible name.
Me.
Terrible.
13-4, fighting out of France, hailing from France, 26 years old. I like this fight. I think this is another very competitive back and forth fight. Both these guys are kind of the same archetype of fighter. I'm going to lean Zaim for... Zaim? Yeah, that's his name. Fariz Zaim. I'm leaning Zaim here. Only because, I mean, Jai Herbert is a little chinny. Not that Zaim has got like, knockout, like, spectacular power. But if there's anybody he can knock out, it's probably Herbert. Herbert also fights a little too safe for my liking. Where not that he fights
off his back foot.
He almost fights not to lose sometimes, And, I mean, Zaim is just like this younger French version of him, He's a French killer. And I think he's just a little more active with his hands, a little more active with the sub attempts, with the grappling. He's just a little more active everywhere. And, I'm going to lean Zaim here. What about you?
Yeah, not only am I going to lean it, I've already bet it. I got him at minus 155. I've already made the bet on him. I put a unit on him. I think Zaim's going to win this fight. And not only is it going to be just because of the way Jai Herbert fights and the way Zaim kind of presses forward, I think what's going to be a big separator in this fight is possibly going to be the wrestling. Zaim has made significant improvements since the Terrence McKinney fight. Even though that fight, you can't really even go too much into detail with that fight because the fight lasted, 2 minutes? Not even. But Zaim has made significant improvements to his wrestling game. He's implemented it really well and hiding it and masking it behind his punches and his kicks. I think Zaim, there's going to be a big coming out party for him in England, and I think he's going to get it done. I like the line on him. Took it, bet it, pack it up.
All right, next fight we have here in the middleweight division, we got Andre Muniz going one-on-one with a middleweight debutant, Paul the Jew Bear, the Bear Jew, Craig. Muniz, 23-5, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 33 years old, going against the Bear Jew himself, Paul Craig, fighting out of Scotland, hailing from Scotland, 35 years old. That was my Scottish accent. You like that? That was sick.
You sound like Drew McIntyre.
Scott. I think Muniz is the rightful favorite here. I think he should win this fight. But man, if this line keeps going crazy and I get plus 200 on Paul Craig, I'm slamming that. Because Paul Craig is a savage. That's all I'm going to say about that. I feel like.
I agree. I think if this line gets to plus 200, I think Paul Craig is worth a shot. And the reason being is because, Muniz is going to be better than him on the feet, but Paul Craig is going to be the bigger guy. He is coming down from 205. Let's see if he can even make the weight. That's one.
That's true.
Two, I think he might be a little compromised, but he works better off his back. So even if he gets touched, Muniz, I think, is arrogant enough with his jiu-jitsu to go to the floor with him. And I think Paul Craig is being disrespected in terms of how well-versed his jiu-jitsu game is off his back. Even if he gets on top of you, he's filthy. Muniz, you did tap out. I think he was the one that broke Jacare Souza's arm.
Yeah.
But dude, Jacare Souza was also 42 years old. Let's just keep it 100. And if we're going to be honest, if based on your last fight with Brendan Allen, you can be wrestled. So if Paul Craig gets a hold of one of your kicks, the same way he did Johnny Walker, you don't have the punching power to facilitate stopping him the same way Johnny Walker did. You just don't. I could see Paul Craig getting a kick, getting him to the floor, working his game, especially now that he's gonna have the size advantage in this fight. I really believe that. If this line gets to plus 200, I'm gonna bet Paul Craig, ladies and gentlemen. Even close. If it gets to plus 195, I'm gonna play him. Probably a half a unit.
Yeah, I think he's worth a shot.
I think he's live as fuck. I really do. I think Muniz's last fight was a big tell in terms of fight IQ and fight decisions. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's one of those things where I think Muniz is he's falling in love with the striking. I feel like, you know what I'm saying. I think he's just so bored with the jiu-jitsu. Like his last couple fights, like literally just falling in love with the striking. And I think that's gonna get him in trouble. To be honest.
Yeah, or it could be his saving grace. I just don't know.
He should be the better striker here, to be honest. Paul Craig,
I agree.
Not the most spectacular striker. I mean, he's a wild man when it comes to just swinging on the feet.
I just think Muniz is arrogant enough with his jiu-jitsu because he is a world champion jiu-jitsu player, if I'm correct. He's arrogant enough to go into Paul Craig's guard. And I think when you have two guys with equal skill like that on the floor, the bigger guy is always going to win. That's how I feel about it. So Paul Craig is probably going to be getting a bet in this fight. I'm not going to put minus 215 on Andre Muniz after his last performance against Brendan Allen, where he made clear fight. He looked like Jack Dellum out there, you know what I'm saying? Like with his decision making. Throw a high kick at a guy who took you down 3 times off a high kick, and then he just holds you to win by, the decision. It's actually, he stopped him. Brendan Allen stopped him.
Brendan Allen, choked him out, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I'm a world-class jiu-jitsu guy, but I get choked out by a guy who has no jiu-jitsu accolades and just has great wrestling mixed in with grappling.
Brendan Allen's got some jiu-jitsu.
Not like
Isn't he like a purple belt or something?
Yeah, but he's not world-class.
Yeah, I hear you. But
Come on, bro. Like,
world-class enough to whoop that ass.
100%. So, yep, I think Paul Craig's going to be... I'm fading Muniz. That's all I'm going to say. After his last fight, told me a lot, so...
All right, the featured bout we have here in the featherweight division. Nathaniel Wood, Andre Fili. Nathaniel Wood, the prospect. I mean, not a prospect anymore. That's a terrible nickname. 19-5. Hailing from England, fighting out of England. 29 years old, going one-on-one with Touchy Feely. Sus ass. That's a sus ass nickname. But I mean, hey, I guess it works. 22-9, fighting out of the good old United States of America, Sacramento, California. 33 years old. I like Wood here. Pause.
Hey, yo.
Nathaniel Wood is one of those guys where he's just continuously impressing me. A little underrated. He's going to be the smaller guy, but he's the smaller guy in a lot of his fights. I just think technique for technique, I think he's just sharper, And I like Andre Fili, but like...
Can't trust him.
Kind of a line stepper. He loses fights he should win, wins fights he should lose. It's weird with him. And somebody that up and down, I'm gonna go with the Wood. Pause. I'm going with Nate Wood.
Yeah, I mirror you. We've already made bets on this, by the way. I put a unit on Wood at minus 185. I thought that was a great line. I think that Nathaniel Wood's going to have the clear speed advantage. He is going to be small because he's a bantamweight moving up to featherweight. Andre does cut a lot of weight. He is a very big featherweight, but size doesn't win fights. I do like Nathaniel Wood's dirty boxing. I do like that he's in London, so if this fight is close, I think they're going to give him the nod on the scorecards. Andre is live, but I don't trust Andre enough to make great decisions to win this fight. Not against a technician like Nathaniel Wood. So even though Nathaniel Wood is smaller, I do trust Nathaniel Wood to pick him apart with the leg kicks, to be there, to not be there when Andre does start letting off shots. And I also trust Nathaniel Wood to beat him up in the dirty boxing and to beat him up in some of the clinch positions, even though he is the smaller guy, because his trips are nasty. He has great timing. He has a great jab. I like Nathaniel Wood here, probably by decision, but if he stopped Andre, I would not be surprised. And I know I heard a lot of people talking about, oh, well, Nathaniel Wood's not a big puncher or this and that. He's a sharp puncher because even though he has not dropped a lot of people, I think he's dropped maybe one person in 6 fights in the UFC or something like that. He's wobbled every one of his opponents, wobbled and hurt them.
I could see a Nathaniel by decision.
I could see it too.
I think that's his most likely path to victory.
I agree, because Andre is tough, and if you're not a big puncher, you're not going to get him out of there. But I could just see him getting picked apart on the feet by this guy, man.
Beat up, yeah.
And even if this fight gets interesting if Andre decides to wrestle him. But Nathaniel's no slouch there either. That's the thing, and that's how I'm kind of varying this. Nathaniel has more paths to victory in this fight.
Definitely has more tools in the toolbox.
I agree.
Yeah.
Andre has one path. I think he's going to have to wrestle him. If he wrestles him, this fight gets very interesting. But it's not Andre's go-to either. So I'm going to lean on Wood giving Andre the Wood. Giving Touchy Feely the Wood.
Damn. Damn, son.
Holy! Call the cops.
Call the cops.
Call the cops on that one.
Yo. All right, now we got the co-main event. And we got Molly McCann going one-on-one with Julia Stolyarenko. Meatball Molly, 13-5. Hailing from England, fighting out of England, 33 years old, going one-on-one with Stolyarenko. 10-7-1. Fighting out of Lithuania, hailing from Lithuania, 30 years old. If Stoliarenko makes the weight, which I highly doubt, this should be a one-sided ass whooping for the most part for Molly. I think this is a good, what do you call that, crowd pleaser? That whole building's gonna go nuts when she walks out.
She's so overrated.
She's gonna feed off the energy of the English people and proceed to whoop Stoliarenko's ass from pillar to post, probably finish her. I think Molly is smart enough to know that Stoliarenko is armbar or bust. Just stay out of the armbar and, easy win, I feel like. I mean, she's minus like 400 or something now, right?
She's minus 215.
Oh, so the numbers going
there's
down.
money coming on Stoliarenko.
I mean, again, a lot of faith in Molly Meatball over here. She's not like a world beater. She ain't that good. She's good, but she ain't great.
Yeah.
And can she get caught by Stoliarenko? Yeah, probably. But I think McCann's the side.
McCann's definitely the side, and McCann's definitely the side. She is going to be a size disadvantage in this fight. Stoliarenko's probably not going to make weight because she struggled to make 35, and now she's going to cut down to 25. Yeah, miss me with that shit. And the thing is, I don't think she's a great fighter. I think she has horrid stand-up. She has very awkward stand-up, which makes it horrid, to be honest, because she doesn't have great shot selection. And her one route to victory is just the arm bar. I could see Molly dropping her and Molly just waving her up, and the London crowd goes crazy,
Yep, not even attempting to jump into the guard.
I think she did that the last two fights.
Yeah.
Like she dropped the girl and then she was like, nah, just get up.
Well, not her last fight. Her last fight was Blanchfield, right?
That's right, yeah.
It might have been the fight before that.
Yeah, Blanchfield, she got mopped.
Yeah, she got mopped by Blanchfield.
But Stoliarenko's not doing that to her on the floor.
No.
I'm sorry. Talia Santos held this girl down for 3 rounds and couldn't stop her.
Yeah.
And I think pretty highly of Santos' back-taking game and her submission game. I don't think she's not world-class like Erin Blanchfield. But what I will say is that Talia does have the physicality to give Molly problems on the floor, and she couldn't even stop her, and Molly did not give up on that fight. And I think at London, Molly is going to put mitts on her. And even if this fight's close in London, Molly's getting the nod. So that's why she's in my parlay. I think she's going to beat her up on the feet. Molly has pretty good timing. She's probably going to have the speed advantage in this fight as well, too. And most definitely probably the power edge with the punching. And she's not incompetent on the floor. Like, she's going to be able to get up if she gets put down. And she's really good at working up against the fence. And if she's against the fence, it's going to be hard for Stoliarenko to throw in any submission from an armbar position. So I like Molly here. Molly's on my parlay. I think she's surely going to win this fight. And a little overrated, but Stoliarenko doesn't belong in the UFC.
I agree.
And that's where I'm at with it. She doesn't belong in the UFC.
Yeah. Molly's not great, but Stoliarenko is less than that.
Yeah, and if Molly was a bad fighter, I wouldn't be betting this fight. But I don't think she's a bad fighter.
I think she's competent enough.
I think she's competent, and I don't think she's stupid.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, competent.
Yeah, not stupid.
Yeah.
That's like that Thor scene, right, with Peter Dinklage, where he's like, "It will kill you, only if I die."
Yes.
That's what killing you means. Oh my goodness. Molly to win. Don't know how she's gonna win. Don't know if she knocks her out. Don't know if it goes to decision. But she's in my parlay.
Yeah, I'm leaning inside, but who knows?
Who knows? Because I could see Stoliarenko just hitting the floor.
She is durable.
And she is durable. And nothing happening.
Yeah.
But she does get dropped in almost every fight, but it's almost like she's trying to call you into a guard.
It could be like a one-sided decision, 100%.
Yeah, I hope Molly just is not stupid enough to fall into that guard with her. Because she does have a nasty guard.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Main event time. Heavyweight division. The returning Englishman, Tom Aspinall, going one-on-one with the Polish Tybura, Marcin Tybura. Tom Aspinall, 12-3, hailing from England, fighting out of Liverpool, 30 years old. Marcin Tybura is his nickname. Fighting out of Poland, hailing from Poland, 37 years old. This is another one where it's I think it's a pretty easy breakdown. Welcome back, Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall is gonna dog walk Marcin, unfortunately. Most likely path to victory is probably gonna be KO. I know Tybura is decent on the ground, but I think Tom Aspinall's so good. I think sub is live. I think Tom Aspinall in the first 2 rounds. Tom Aspinall inside the distance. Welcome back, Tom Aspinall. Running back with Curtis Blades. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's my breakdown.
Absolutely. Not a lot to say about this fight because this fight's not going the distance. I don't see it going past 3. I think Aspinall fucks him up.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah. And Tybura is good if he gets on top of you, but I don't see Aspinall. Aspinall's wrestling is good enough to not allow that to happen. And he is going to be physically the bigger guy.
And he's got excellent footwork. So it's like, I struggle to see how Tybura is even going to try to close that distance to grapple him.
Correct.
Unless, Aspinall, welcomes it. But if Aspinall's welcoming it, he's got something up his sleeve, I feel like. He's not a dumb fighter. He's very good.
Yeah.
Aspinall's a beast.
Yeah, he's a future champion.
100%.
Arguably going to be a future champion in this division. And I like Aspinall. Aspinall probably by punches, I must say, because Tybura is not incompetent on the floor.
Yeah.
But if he subbed him, would I be surprised? No. So Aspinall to finish, I'm definitely going to be parlaying that probably with Muradov to murder Barberena. I think both those fights are definitely going to get stopped. So that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I've been betting it. And and that's all for the main event. Now, guys, to cover boxing this weekend, we have to do a little bit more film study, and we're going to be very frank with you because there's a lot to cover before Wednesday, which today is Wednesday. But we have 2 fights: George Kambosos versus Max Hughes. That fight's probably going to go the distance, but I want to do a little more homework on it before we give you a distinct answer and a distinct bet on it. And we have Stephen Fulton versus Inoue next weekend, the monster Inoue in Japan.
That's on a Tuesday.
It's on a Tuesday, guys. Yeah. So just as a heads up, I'm going to be honest with you. Both these fights, we have to do homework on. Fulton versus Inoue is going to be a lot closer than people are expecting. Because I think Fulton is being slept on.
He is.
Inoue is being pushed by ESPN and Top Rank, and he's being heavily promoted. He should get this fight done if it's close, just because it is in Japan. But if Fulton edged them out, I would not be surprised. I want to give you guys some time to digest the fights and give us some time to digest the fights. And please follow us on social media platforms because we're going to break it down probably there and give you our bets.
Yeah. But, you want to hear quick leans. Quick leans for me.
Kambosos. And Inoue. Yeah. I'll go that. I'll go like that.
Those are my initial leans, but you're right. We got to dive a little bit into it and figure it out and, see if Hughes has got any kind of,
smoke. And Stephen Fulton has definitely got smoke for Inoue. Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely, especially since Inoue is moving up into his weight class. And if I'm correct, Stephen Fulton's the undisputed champion in this weight class.
No, aren't they? Isn't this the same? I thought this was just for the undisputed whatever division Inoue's been wrecking shop. I thought this was the undisputed for that.
I swore he was moving up. So let me double check that real quick. But regardless, this kid is
Fulton's a beast no matter what, but
Fulton's a beast. And if we're being honest, Inoue is the closest thing I've ever seen to Manny Pacquiao. Like the style, the way he's in and out. There's a lot of things he does really well. And no, it's retained WBA. Yeah, it's super. Yep. This is going to be in the same weight class as that Inoue's been dominating.
Yeah, Inoue's trying to get the undisputed recognition here.
Right now.
Fulton's got the only belt he doesn't have.
Correct. Yeah. And Fulton's no joke.
Yeah,
he's a good fighter. So, yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. Follow us on social media platforms, as you already know. UFC London in the books. Boxing for this week in the books. We'll let you guys know what the boxing picks are and what more of our UFC bets. But you already know the routine at the end of these podcasts, guys. Follow, like, subscribe, comment, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody currently watching on YouTube, Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date when we drop these episodes.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know, episode 22 in the books. Show us some love, guys. We already got a pretty substantial amount of subscribers and followers. We want some more. We want some love.
Feed me more, baby.
And we're going to expand this podcast into other areas as well, coming soon. Love you guys. Holla at ya. Peace.